20 years ago, the academia had just received Sachin's estate. To celebrate the huge investment, the academia extravaganza that year was grander than usual. I was very young then, and I remember seeing posters for the Darshan championship all over the city. I couldn't help but mention it to my father. I even told him that I really liked the look of the diadem. It was so unique. So he said, "Why don't I win it, so I can let you play with it for a few days?" That made me very happy, and I nodded enthusiastically. But to my surprise, he didn't win. And when he got back home, he seemed extremely depressed. Later, he left home, saying that he wanted to do some investigating in the desert. The quicksand got him not long after that. For many years, I couldn't face up to it at all. If I just kept my mouth shut, maybe none of it would have ever happened.
Wait, so the person we came across in our investigation, who went into the desert 20 years ago, it was...
Is that why Sachin thought I looked familiar? I can't believe it. My father was always too kind for his own good. Sachin's research would have saddened him greatly. He must have gone into the desert when he heard about it to find those who were still suffering. It all makes sense now. I've tried telling myself so many times over the years that maybe his sudden depression wasn't because he didn't win the competition. Maybe something else was going on that I wasn't aware of. But in the end, it all started with me mentioning the competition to him.
Oh, Kaveh.
Don't worry. I destroyed the diadem. There will never be another tragedy like this again. Never again. Sorry. My mind was still on the championship. Look at me, rambling away.
You look really upset. Are you sure you're okay?
I'm fine. What's past is past. We need to look towards the future. Where were you while the rest of us were eating together?
I don't recall being obligated to report my whereabouts to you.
Did you go find another hidey hole to read in? You need to change your ways, you know. You can't survive on books alone.
Surviving on meals paid for by you would be harder still.
You? Whatever. It doesn't take a genius to guess what you've been up to. You were investigating Sachin, weren't you? It was obvious from your notes. However, I don't believe his research alone would have been enough to pique your interest. His way of doing things is disturbing, while you... Well, to be fair, your philosophy disgusts me too, but you and Sachin are nothing alike. I don't imagine your views intersect at all. Egoism and nihilism are not the same thing.
My personal interests aside, Sachin's legacy is not entirely meaningless. He conducted experiments on a great scale and left his findings behind. Also, thanks for the compliment, but I'm actually just passing through. I didn't come here for the conversation. Well, not this one at least.
What do you mean? What topic of conversation could be more sacred among scholars than the exploration of differing philosophies?
Well, based on what I've learned, Sachin and his disturbing way of doing things, as you put it, is very likely to have met your father 20 years ago.
What did you say? Wait, so... No, surely that doesn't mean... So that's why he thought I looked familiar. My father must have gone into the desert due to his influence.
I'm afraid so.
Good thing I shattered that diadem. From now on, nothing like that will ever have to happen again.
The boundaries of knowledge are ever expanding. Someone else will inevitably pick up the same line of research one day, and Vahumana regards it as a reasonable research direction.
Oh, not this again. Even if you're right and people are bound to fall into the same intellectual traps, things won't necessarily go the same way again next time. You have to admit that the actions of one individual don't always predict the behavior of the group, and vice versa. Take Sachin, for instance. He's quite an anomaly.
And so is the one who stopped him. You. Conflicts of this nature are indeed exceptional, but it will occur again in the future. You said it yourself. The actions of one individual cannot predict the behavior of a whole group. You know that not everyone would have chosen as you did.
Even so, I stand by my views. You can forget about trying to convince me.
That's fine. We've been arguing over this for years, and I don't hold any hope of you understanding. The issue we're debating has long since moved on from who's right and who's wrong.
Thanks for letting me know all this.
What?
I said, thanks for letting me know. Hey, stop acting like you didn't hear me. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
They say that earnest thanks should be given thrice, so one more time, please.
Well, how did it go? I assume that Lord Sangamabe's assistance helped you discover something, yes?
You mean...
Sachin was not a good person, and there's definitely something wrong with that diadem of knowledge. And in that case, shouldn't you be doing something about it? For instance, telling the academia that they should give up the diadem?
We already told the academia, but...
But what?
Kaveh smashed the diadem.
What?
Calm down, Dori. Why are you getting so worked up?
My diadem! My beautiful diadem! This was supposed to be the perfect plan! I feed you the information, you discover the issue with the diadem, and then I just wait until the academia sells it off at a low price! And now, it was all for nothing! Curse that Kaveh! The interest rate on the mora he owes me is about to get much higher.
Oh, so that's why you told us about this. Yeah, Paimon did think you were being unusually generous.
My diadem! I'm furious! That's it. No extension on his payment this month, no matter what reason he gives.